What's up folks, Moon here. Welcome back to the channel. I've got a brand new series for you guys today and I'm going to be uploading an episode of this type of stuff once a month. So this is my, take at IRL content. For those of you who are new to the channel, hi, I'm Moon. I'm a World of Warcraft player and this is my weight loss journey, at least a documentation of it. I wanted to make this video a little bit earlier in the journey itself, but I didn't want this to fail, unlike another series that failed on my channel. So we are actually a couple months in already, and I'll get more into the logistics in a bit. But I'll go over who I am, what I do, what my weight loss journey is like so far, my previous experience with losing weight, what I'm doing now this time that is more effective last time, my results, and some tips and tricks for people who may want to start their own journey towards health or a better body or a better life. So without further ado, I'll just try and do this all in one take and cut it up in post. Let's get right into it. As I've said earlier, my name's Moon, at least that's what I go by on the internet. My real name is Connor, and I'm a 22-year-old from Florida. I work in cybersecurity. I just graduated college last year, and as you can imagine, that's a pretty sedentary lifestyle. I have been overweight my whole life, and when I was 19, I initially tried to lose weight through the ketogenic diet. While it was effective at the time, and I was able to lose 61 pounds in just a mere 5 months, unfortunately what was a painful lesson for me to learn, especially gaining back all the weight and then an additional 20 pounds, was that there is a mental connection to food, how you approach food, your overall discipline, that was not addressed. And losing it a second time, I've been addressing those mental issues as well, but also losing weight through a more sustainable way that isn't necessarily a crash diet. Now, something with the ketogenic diet too is while it is very effective for the time being, unless you're actively going to the gym and lifting weights and building muscle mass, you're actually going to be losing muscle mass too with a diet like that, which is why I lost weight so fast. I prided myself on having never stepped foot into a gym, but really what I was doing with that diet was hurting myself more than actually helping myself. Additionally, with a crash diet like keto, it is very inconvenient and not sustainable to be on. While there are some people who will try and say that, oh, it works, there are longer term studies talking about like 5 years or more that shows that it actually can increase certain cardiovascular health risks, even though, being healthy in general, being a lower weight in general is very good. So I guess the next question is, well, why am I losing weight a second time? Why did I not just go into the fat acceptance movement and eat myself to death and try and tell myself that everything was peaches and cream? You see, at 22 years old, I'm already experiencing medical issues that are linked as a direct result of me being overweight. I'm experiencing certain things that happen in my body, such as cyst development, certain rashes, etc., that are mainly linked to obesity. Additionally, I've struggled with high blood pressure, and as that runs in my family, I was noticing that my weight was only making that issue significantly worse. So I was 302 pounds at the beginning of this year, and my heaviest, I was 320 pounds. I knew that if I kept going at the rate that I was going to be dead before the age of 35. I grew up quite broke, quite poor, and I was able to game the system in a way where I was able to graduate college with no student debt, get myself a good paying job, and really set myself up for success for the rest of life. And I knew that if I didn't address my weight and I died a premature death in my 30s due to like heart complications or other complications from my weight, what even was the point of putting in all the hard work to break free from the working class if I'm not even going to be alive to enjoy it? That was that really shock that hit me was in December of last year when I started developing all these medical issues, and I realized now was the time to make a change. I can't keep letting my friends lie to me and tell me, oh, you're not that fat. Or I can't keep lying to myself when I know that I'm not able to fit my clothes, when I know that I'm having all these medical issues, etc. So at the beginning of the new year, I decided to lose weight. This wasn't really a New Year's resolution. I'd started like late December, but it just so happened to line up with the New Year, so a lot of other people were hopping on that sort of bandwagon. Ultimately, this is something that is to save myself, save my health, and preserve my quality of life for as long as possible. At the beginning of this year, I ended up doing this like 6-week challenge thing at my gym where you got to go over nutrition, you got to do this really cool thing called a Skytu scan, I think that's how you pronounce it, and you got to work with a trainer for 6 weeks to develop a workout routine that works for you. So we're doing like upper body workouts, we're doing lower body workouts, and we're doing core exercises on both of those days. 2 days of weightlifting, and then I set myself to do cardio a couple other days. Being an obese person, going to the gym was always a big fear for me, and more so rather than myself having the ability to actually do it, it was more of a mental thing of what if people look at me a certain type of way, or what if people call me a fucking idiot for not doing the exercises right. There were so many just irrational fears I had about going to the gym as an overweight person, because you think, oh, well, the gym is for healthy people. Well, not necessarily. You don't go to the hospital because you're perfectly healthy. I mean, yeah, you get your health checkups and everything, and that's good to do. You go to the hospital because you're sick. You don't go to the gym because you're already fit. You go to get fit and build yourself a better, healthier lifestyle. When I was able to make that connection in my mind, it made going to the gym less scary. And even though I had the spare capital to do so, having a personal trainer helped just show me a general series of exercises that I wasn't really able to find just from open source YouTube was very helpful for me. Once I got my fear out and I was able to go to the gym and really have an understanding of what I'm doing, that has been a massive key to my success thus far. Now, why did I decide to start this series later on as opposed to, say, earlier? That's just because I want to make sure that when I start something, I finish it, and I've already made a mistake on this channel of starting a series with too many unknown variables to where I wasn't able to finish it. So I didn't want that to happen again. That's why I didn't start the series as I just started working out and exercising, because there wouldn't really be a whole lot to go off of. Realistically, I've been losing weight for about 2 months now, and I'll go ahead and share my results real quick before I go and talk about like what I have done and what has helped me thus far. So, at the beginning of the year, January 2nd, 2024, I weighed a total of 302 pounds. This was at the hospital where I went in to go for a quick checkup after getting a procedure done where I had medical issues as a result of being fat. I then started the 6-week challenge at my gym. Unfortunately, I got COVID in the middle of February, but I was still able to stick to a decent dieting plan and get exercise throughout walking. At the end of February, I weighed a total of 287 pounds, total weight loss of 15 pounds, and I found out through a second Skytu scan that I ended up gaining 3 pounds of muscle over the course of the 2 months. So I'm very proud of those numbers, and I'll tell you exactly how I did that and what the secret was as opposed to what happened with keto. So you want the secret to losing weight, huh? Well, I'll tell you this one simple thing that so many people greatly undervalue on the internet. So many, even fitness YouTubers get it wrong. That is discipline, and also understanding that there's absolutely no shortcut to losing weight, and the only way to properly lose weight is through correct diet and consistent exercise. Boom, that's it. So, you want to try a crash diet? Be my guest. There is a 98 to 99% chance you are going to gain all that weight back and then some, because maintenance is extremely difficult to do on those crash diets. Additionally, you can try to take certain pills. You can try to do these like weight loss wraps or whatever to like pack your skin in. It's not going to work. You can't simulate that. There is no shortcut. You have to put in the work. It's gonna fucking suck. At least for the first week, because you've got two things that are going on, right? Your first couple weeks that you're exercising, if you're a man like myself and you're getting into lifting weights, you're going to be dealing with delayed onset muscle soreness. Your muscles are going to feel like shit. You're not going to want to go back to the gym, and you're going to question why even bother get started in the first place if you hurt so bad. I assure you that will go away. And then you'll just feel a little bit fatigued for a little bit and you'll be feeling fine. But you got to give it that first 3 or 4 weeks. The second thing that's going to be going on at the same time is, more often than not, when you're obese like myself, you have an addiction to sugar. Sugar has been found to be as addictive as some other addictive drug substances. I don't remember which ones off the top of my head. I haven't sourced the study in quite a while. But the point being is that sugar is an addictive chemical. So when you remove a lot of that sugar from your diet, you are going to go into withdrawal. Your cravings are going to increase. You're going to really struggle a lot trying to fight this sugar addiction at the same time as working out. Now, there is a sustainable way of doing this. What you can do is you can calculate what your basic metabolic intake is, and this is combined off of multiple factors, right? This is combined off of your height, your sex, your age, and your current weight, as well as your activity level. All of those factors get compounded into one specific number, and that is how many calories you can eat in a day, feasibly. Generally, you want to undercut that number. So you've got like a maintenance number, right? You want to undercut that number by 500. Now, why is this? Well, 3,500 calories makes a pound. So if you undercut that by 500 and you're in a caloric deficit of 500 for every single day, that adds up to a pound a week. Realistically, you can lose about 1-2 pounds a week and have it be healthy. You'll notice that a lot of water weight will drop off on the first week, so you may see more results. But as a general rule, that's going to be about the pace you're going. Sorry, if you want to try something else, be my guest. But again, nothing is going to beat that discipline and that consistency with dieting and exercising. Now, am I saying to just drop everything right now and swap to chicken and rice? No, because you know what? You're going to give up. You have to start with small and effective changes, such as cutting out your sugary drinks first. That's the easiest thing, right? If you know, I have this many calories I can eat in a day, you start to look at the foods that you eat and the drinks that you drink, and you really weigh the pros and cons of consuming certain types of food. So if I like the sugary frappuccino from Starbucks that's like 800 calories and I'm only allowed 2,000 calories a day, I'm trying to think to myself to justify it, is this going to help me feel full throughout the day if it goes to my 2,000 allotted calories? The answer is no, it's not. So I remove all the calories from my drinks, and it doesn't mean you just have to drink water. I mean, you could drink like tea too. You could drink, I mean, I've got like a sparkling water right here that I really like, 0 calories as well. But when you become more mindful of especially the calories that you drink, that's step one that you can make like today. Additionally, the exercise is going to help you a lot because your body, whenever you do an exercise such as lifting weights, and it takes a lot out of you, you know, energy wise, and your muscles are trying to rebuild themselves, your body will naturally crave good things for you that will help nourish it and help the muscles rebuild and help yourself, you know, grow that muscle strength. And more muscle mass means you burn more fat at rest. So that's the fantastic thing about it. So naturally, you will want to eat more complex carbohydrates like rice or vegetables. You know, that'll fill you up. The one thing that's more important than anything, especially, is protein. And a lot of Americans are protein deficient. If you can continue to get a good amount of protein, then that's great. And if you want to cut your calories a little bit more, then maybe cut some of the carbs, but still keep the good protein in there because you really need that protein, especially for building your muscles back and recovering from workouts such as weightlifting. The whole counting calories thing does take some time getting used to, and I would recommend actually calculating the food before you put it in your mouth, as opposed to being like, you know, I'll just do this here, this here. Or if you can plan a meal or two in advance of knowing just how many calories you're going to eat, that's going to make things a lot easier. Better yet, if you find repeat foods that you like for me, I like the healthy choice meals that are like 200 to 300 calories. I can eat those on repeat, still get a decent bit of variety, still get my protein, still get my vegetables, still get my complex carbohydrates. Like sometimes they have like pastas in there that are really good. I can have that as a consistent factor that allows me to be a little bit more flexible with my other calories in the day. Ultimately, if you are underneath that calorie deficit, you are good as gold. So I technically still eat anything that I like. For instance, a couple weeks ago, I went to the ice cream shop and I was able to get myself a cookies and cream ice cream. And you might be thinking, eating ice cream while trying to lose weight? That's blasphemy. Well, not necessarily. You see, I got a kitty-sized portion of the ice cream, which is only 1 scoop. Why? Because a kitty-sized portion allows me to still taste that ice cream, still have it be good, and I don't need any more than that. Because if I eat more than that, it's going to be an insane amount of calories, and I know that I'm not going to feel good. Because I'm going to feel bloated, I'm going to feel sluggish, I'm going to feel awful, and it's just not going to be a good time. I think that the biggest lesson that we can learn from everything regarding like calories and calorie counting and such is that moderation is key. If you can learn how to eat a proper portion size and be content with it and not want any more, you'll be golden. The biggest thing that a lot of us can mess up on, especially when we're eating as well, is not understanding what a healthy portion size is. In America specifically, we tend to overeat, and especially if you're somebody who likes to go eat out a lot, you may be getting double the portion of what is recommended. So that's why it's really important to not only eat better quality foods, but also eat the correct quantity of that food too. Or you may find yourself overeating, or if you see that scale going up, it might be a result of how much you're eating too. I made that mistake a lot, especially back in early January when I started this, and now I'm noticing more consistent results. So that leads me to another point that I've had, and that is the fat acceptance community. I'm going to call y'all out. You guys are some of the absolute worst people to ever exist on the internet, and I wish nothing but bad things to happen to you. So these are very volatile, very immature, very narcissistic people that intentionally peddle misinformation about weight loss, trying to say that it's bad, trying to say that you can now be like fat phobic for not blindly agreeing with all these takes, and trying to get society to bend to their will as opposed to doing things that make these people a healthy weight, such as actually dieting and exercising. Now, do I condone the harassment of anybody? No. But I also don't think it's fat phobic to mention the health risks of being overweight and looking at the increasing amount of community members that have recently fallen over dead in their early to mid 30s. The proof is in the pudding, and we already have tons of scientific backed data that show that being overweight is linked to several terrible medical problems. So the fact that these people are so emotionally volatile and are going to like call everything fat phobic, when realistically it's not, and then demand that society bends to their will to try and make everything more fat inclusive, allowing you to have extra airplane seats. I guess the best way I can summarize it is that these people are trying to make being fat a oppressed minority group, when in reality you are the reason that you put yourself there. Maybe your parents didn't teach you a healthy relationship with food. Fine. You know, mine didn't either. It happens. I still love them anyways, but that's ultimately my responsibility to take on now. It's also not fat phobic to mention the risks of being overweight and the significant medical problems that are associated with being overweight, but I also think it is kind of a dick move to try and call these people like, you know, land whales or whatever, because you're not going to get people to lose weight through that way. Like, I think contrary to popular belief, bullying people into trying to make a change 9 times out of 10 doesn't work and makes that person double down, especially given the modern culture of being hyper offended. With that being said, you know, if somebody mentions that they have serious concerns for your health, don't try and write that off as a person being fat phobic or somehow hating you because you're overweight. That's not the case. In fact, if the person is willing to have that discussion with you, that shows that they care about you enough to step forward and have that conversation with you, as opposed to trying to hide it and trying to play along and trying to say, oh no, you look skinny today, when in reality your BMI is like 40. So I think that's all I have to say on that, really. If you find yourself getting drawn into the fat acceptance community, don't. Break free now. It's only going to get worse. And these people are so disillusioned with health and reality that they will do and they will say anything they can to try and shame you into not working towards a healthier lifestyle. So what's next for me? Obviously, I'm going to keep dieting and keep exercising, and I hope that if you've been struggling with losing weight and really want to give it a serious go, that this is somehow the motivation that you need to actually go out and begin a healthier lifestyle for you and yourself. I will say that I've already been noticing more mental clarity. I've noticed that I've had more energy in just 2 months of consistently doing it, and I intend on consistently losing more weight until I get down to a reasonable, healthy size. I don't really have a number goal in mind. Ideally, I would just like to get down to a comfortable weight where I don't feel like a fat cow anymore. And that's about it regarding this topic. I'm going to be uploading these types of episodes once a month because I think weight loss takes time, and I really do want to give it the respect that it deserves with that time. So just giving a monthly update. If I learn anything new, if I learn like a new recipe or something, I'll share that. But yeah, regardless, if you enjoy this type of content and want to continue with me for the rest of my journey, it means a lot if you hit that subscribe button, like, share with your friends, etc. Until next time, this is Moon, signing out.